What up?
Versus Kansas City. Welcome to the 49ers versus Chiefs post-game show. We're gonna be recapping the Niners game. What went wrong? What plays? We're just gonna be recapping the game. So, um, Ryan, is there anything you want to share that you liked about the game?
I like how Trey got out there, threw for a touchdown. Most of our points came off of Trey. I like how Rosen, he might have thrown that interception, but stayed in it and kept moving things down the field. I don't know if his interception was totally 100% his fault. I do believe it was a little high, but also Travis Benjamin didn't really go up for it. I like the interception by, was it Diamador Lenore?
I think it was.
It was either him or Ambry. I like to see Talanoa in on every special team tackle and his defensive play. I was really happy about that because I like Talanoa Hufanga.
And
Uh,
what were some things that you found out that the Niners could work a little bit more on? Improve more on.
so I think the play calling for Lance was pretty, I don't know, like it wasn't advantageous to his style of football. I think he kind of had one arm tied behind his back. He wasn't able to move the pocket at all, really. And then that offensive line that he was behind really didn't work. So I didn't really like that. But shout out to Simba Webster. Sorry, I really appreciate Simba Webster. I saw something on Twitter where somebody's like, "Cut Richie James Jr. now and sign Simba Webster," and I second that.
And what things have you seen in Simba Webster that you've just seen that this guy can excel in every position? Like what things have you seen in him that on the field?
He brought that kick return out. He did a great job. I liked the vision in the field, and then immediately they went to him on like an end and around, and he got a nice chunk play there. So any guy who can play wide receiver but then run like a running back, kind of like he does, I like them because you could do so much
And
with them.
something else I would like to say is that what after losing this game, what should the 49ers work on more next time? To work harder and actually win a game. You know,
Well, I think it was a preseason game, so I'm not really too worried about them winning preseason games. It's more about putting guys in the right spot to learn. So like today, our defense was pretty much all second string. And I liked that because a lot of those guys got a lot of meaningful reps. And I think next game they go out and play, they're going to be able to build upon that through practice because the coaches are going to tell them what they did wrong and what they did right, and they're going to be able to work harder on those things that they did wrong on the field.
and some things that I have told Niner fans is that uh maybe like don't dwell on this game because uh you want to focus on the loss and learn from it and gain as much as you can from it, like like it was they did lose by 3 points, but in the end a loss is a loss.
Yeah,
Even if you lose by 4 points, it's still a loss. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. It's still a loss, really. I mean, they still did lose the game. I mean, even if it's a preseason game, they still, they still were a little bit short. To
yeah,
come away with the win. So they were pretty short. I mean, the thing that really and the game was going really well, but I thought they would win. But then when the Chiefs scored that touchdown to make it 19 to 13, I believe. I'm not sure what the score was when they scored the touchdown. But that definitely got me stirred up. That definitely didn't make me really happy because I never thought that they would score that touchdown. You know, That was kind of unexpected for me. You know, watching the Niners, just going to games, just being a supporter of the team for so many years. That was a kind of a shock to me. When they scored that touchdown, because I wouldn't believe that they would actually, they would actually score that.
Oh, the
Um,
the 80-yard pass to
that
Sherfield.
I'm not that one. I'm talking about when the Chiefs scored that touchdown. I'm saying that
Oh,
was kind of where I got fired up because I was not really happy about that. You know, that was. I mean, the 80-yard touchdown by Sherfield was. I did like that. That was a pretty nice throw by Lance to get Sherfield for that touchdown. But when the Chiefs scored it, that was the time when I got like really upset. I was, you know, that just like fired me up because I was just like, how could the Chiefs score? So that would just
I,
that's touchdown by Kansas City was just, unexpected. Like it
I
came
thought
out of left
as
field.
I thought of something else they need to work on. The running backs need to learn or need to work on holding on to the ball better. There seemed like there was a couple of instances that it could kind of be explained, like Trey Sermon got hit in the hand. Seemed like it hurt a little bit, you know what I mean? And that might have made a knee-jerk reaction to do something, but we got to keep a hold of that ball. Him and Hasty, they got to hold on to it.
Because the thing
But
that I really find out that's really upsetting is that they need to hold on to the ball more. That's a problem they have is that they're not able to hold on to the ball, and then they get too many fumbles, too many interceptions, too many stuff like that. So they have to work on holding the ball better. Because that's a problem that they've been having for years, where they haven't been able to hold onto the ball really well. They've been dropping the ball too many times, too many mistakes happening. Just we need to limit. The thing that I agree is that we need to limit the amount of mistakes that the Niners make. I mean, mistakes are not okay, but just don't let them happen too many times. That's when it becomes kind of an issue. When you
I
make too
do
many
think,
mistakes. I mean, mistakes are okay. We all make mistakes and we learn from mistakes. I mean, mistakes are just a fact of life. Make mistakes,
yeah.
right? Just
So
like when you ride
also,
a bike, you fall off of you get back up and you ride again. So it's basically very similar to that idea, you know,
yeah,
that concept, basically.
I also
Kind
think
of like
that
you learn from your mistakes.
the play calling from Kyle tonight, I think he could have done a little bit better play calling for Trey Lance because, excuse me, we saw what he did with Rosen. Rosen was able to move around in the pocket and, like roll out. And it seemed like that's the same plays he should have been calling for Trey. But I feel, excuse me, that he's trying to not give the rest of the league a look into what Trey's moves are like, into what his tendencies are. And I just don't like the 4 or 5 sacks that he got tonight. I just thought that could have been avoided by play calling when he knew he had not a very good line in front of him. But it's
So in
also
this
good
game,
for,
who do you think
yeah.
had a better who do you think had a better game, Trey Lance or Josh Rosen? Who do you think had a better grip of the game? They were able to, not like out of those two, who do you think did a better job? Do you think Trey Lance did a better job, um, in the QB position, or do you think Rosen did a good job as well? I mean, do you,
Well,
who do
up
you
up
think
to my
did
up to
better?
my expectations coming into the game, I think Rosen did better because than Trey to what my expectations were. So I expected Trey to come in and do a good job, which I think he did, despite all the dropped passes. But Rosen, I didn't expect him. The interception aside, like I said, that it's kind of half on him, half on the receiver. Like he threw it a little high, but the receiver didn't make any attempt to try and bat it down or go up for it. He just immediately turned around to see where it was going. So Rosen, I didn't have a very big expectations of Rosen, and he succeeded or superseded them.
I was thinking that Trey Lance would have a really great game today because as to know that it was his debut game at Levi's, so basically people were really excited to come to the stadium to really see how Trey Lance would be on his first game as a Niner. Um, and I was thinking that he was gonna have a really great game because everybody knows that when you have your debut game, you always want to make it special. You want to make it as special as you can possibly make it. Um, how do you think his How do you think the fans uh like uh cheered him on on his debut game because it's a big moment for him, right? Anytime you have this type of moment, it's a great moment. You always want these things, right, where it's your first it's like your first time ever playing on at Levi's. So even Trey Lance would be excited that he's getting this moment, and the
Yeah,
whole fan base is getting a chance to see it, which is,
I think the whole
I mean, as a Niner.
I think the whole fan base should be excited about everybody who played tonight. I don't think there was
But
anybody
expect
other than maybe Richie James that you could really point your finger at and be like, well, "Come on, bro, you really need to step it up more." This is the first preseason game, and man, the offensive line, like I wish they were better, but I didn't expect the second string offensive line to be better than what they played. You know what I mean? So I can't look down on them for
Yeah,
that
I
because I didn't
understand what.
think they'd do better.
So for the 49ers, do you think what do you think is better? Do you think their O line is a little bit much more better? Or their D line better? Like the thing you've kind of seen. What do you see? What do you see is better?
Our D line is definitely better and deeper.
Um
So
and what things should the 49ers focus on going into their next game in week 2 their week 2 preseason game, which is believe on August 22nd, which is about a week, less than a week away from now, and they're going to be going into SoFi Stadium in LA to play the LA Chargers. What things should the Niners focus on in that game, as they're going to be going to SoFi Stadium, and they have to what's your thoughts about week two's preseason game and how well the Niners are going to do in that game?
So I don't know how they'll do. It's a preseason game. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like you can never tell. Sometimes people keep their starters in longer and do all this and that, and you never know who's playing. So it might not be a fair matchup the whole time. But I think we've got the talent to get it done. I do think, and something that Kyle Shanahan brought up that I thought I'd address also is a couple of them plays that Lance got sacked. The running backs, they were releasing to the inside instead of chipping the defensive end who was being blocked by the left tackle, and that just made the defensive ends be able to get home quicker to Trey Lance and him not be able to find the right person to throw it to or know that he was in trouble. So I think that could be helped. Every quarterback on this team needs to have a running back that knows when they need to chip the defensive lineman, no matter who's starting. We need to take care of our quarterback. So I think that really needs to be looked at. We need to make sure we're not putting the ball on the ground. If there's no fumbles for the rest of the season and everybody got the fumbles out of their system tonight, I am happy with that. You know what I mean? As long as we don't have fumbles going into week 1, I don't have a problem. Get it out of your system now, folks. You know what I mean? I think Jimmy did a great job. He was what, 3 for 3 with 28 yards. It wasn't a dynamic performance. It was nothing really to blow your skirt up, but it was consistent. It's what Jimmy normally is. He's consistent with things, but nothing really dazzles. And if you notice that the drive stalled out, you know what I mean, and we had to end up punting it. But it is what it is.
And my thing is that what's your score prediction for that game? What you think? What's your score for that week 2 preseason game? When they go into SoFi, what do you think the score is going to be for that game?
Uh, let's say 24-17 Niners.
Um, and the third and the last preseason game of the schedule is they're coming back to Levi's for Week 3's preseason game against the Vegas Las Vegas Raiders. Um, uh, do you think that the 40s are going to be do you think the 49ers are going to be intimidated by the by the Raiders or because it is the Battle of the Bay, and that's it is that's going to be a pretty iconic game to watch on TV because that's going to be the two Bay Area teams going against each other. So, do you think the 40s are going to be able to win that game, realizing they're going up against the Raiders, which have been having a really great season so far? Just because
I
all the new players that they've gotten and all the the talent that they've brought. Do you think the Niners are gonna win that game, or is that gonna be a and the second question for that game is, do you think that's gonna be a win or do you think that's gonna be a W or an L for the Raiders in a Niner game?
I think we're going to win that game. I personally don't have a lot of faith in the upper management of the Raiders. I don't have a faith in the coaching staff. I don't think John Gruden should be coaching in the NFL. I think he's antiquated, old and antiquated. Uh,
And
I it, Carr might, I don't know. Shout out to Bay Area Baller, but I've never been a fan of Carr. I know he got a ball thrown to him by Carr. You should go check that on YouTube if you guys haven't. But um, yeah, I don't. From the heads down, I don't think they're a good art organization. Like Arden Key came up on the podium and started talking about they don't use me right. It was the wrong scheme and this and that. And it seems like they want to do things their way and they want to pick the people they want, but they don't ever think about, do the people that they want work in their system. You know what I mean? You make a system to take advantage of somebody's strong points, or you draft people and hire people who are perfect for your system, whether they're good or not. It seems like they always go for these names, and the name is going to fix everything. And no, there's no sense in getting. They picked up Solomon Thomas, and then they figured out, oh, he's a little small. And it's like, well, what do you think the 49ers problem was with him? Now, I personally didn't hate Solomon Thomas like everybody else. I thought in 2019 he didn't really get home a lot, but I always saw when he was in the game he was getting pressure, at least, like he was pushing people back, and there was a couple times he had an outstretched hand which would cause the quarterback to jump back, and then Bosa or D Ford would end up gobbling up the quarterback. So on the D line, it's a team effort. Same thing with the offensive line. It's a team effort to get things done. So I I just don't like how they run their business over there.
And my question and my other thing that my other question is that why do you say that John Gruden shouldn't coach anymore? Um, do you have any reasons to say why he shouldn't coach anymore? Because you did mention that I believe partway through the stream you did mention that John Gruden shouldn't coach anymore.
Yeah.
Um, do you know why you said that? Because I don't know if that's being a little harsh toward him, or saying why he shouldn't coach anymore.
Oh, it could be a little too harsh. It's not
Oh,
like I'm the smartest football person out there on the planet. You know what I mean? So other people could have different takes. I just don't. I Ever since the 2000s, I never had much faith in him. It seemed to me like he was always, had his own style of doing things, and doesn't listen to anybody else. And
Would you would
once you think you know everything, you're now gonna be passed up by everybody else who knows they don't know everything and is trying to learn more.
so I believe how John Gruden acts is there's this show on Apple TV called Ted Lasso, which is about this Premier League coach who has no idea how to coach a English soccer team, and everybody's laughing at him because he doesn't know anything, and he's thinking like he knows much about English soccer, but he has no even clue about what English soccer really is. It's a very funny show. I mean, it's very funny. It's on Apple TV. It's called Ted Lasso. You
Gotcha.
should check it out. It's about a coach who, like you just mentioned, has no idea about the sport, and then he's acting like this, expert, like he knows everything, and then people are just people are just, mocking him. So it's pretty funny. You should definitely check it out. It's on Apple TV. I don't yeah, it's very entertaining. My parents have watched a couple of episodes from it, and they find it very funny too.
Like,
It's
wasn't John Gruden was the coach of the Raiders when they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if I remember correctly, in the
I
Super Bowl,
think he
right?
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was the coach of the Raiders back then when they were playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He had Jerry Rice on his team,
Yeah, I think
and
yeah.
I didn't like how they utilized him. They,
Uh, and for the Raiders game, what do you think the score will be? Will it be a pretty high scoring game? Will both teams try and fight really hard? Doesn't matter if it's a win. No, it doesn't matter if it's a win or loss. Um, how hard will both teams fight? Realizing that it's Battle of the Bay and both Bay Area teams are going against each other, and it's gonna be a pretty fun game to watch. See how it goes down.
I think it's
What
going
do
to
you?
be a pretty. I think it's going to be a pretty vicious game. I think it's the last game before the cut down.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a lot of people playing for jobs.
That game is going to be pretty exciting because at my work at Great America, I have two of my employees who work with me, and they're both Raider fans, both of them. So I have a lot of friends, like close friends of mine, who are like mostly they're all Raider fans. Like I have one friend who I know he's a Raider fan, and then I have two of my employees who I also work with at work, and they're also Raider fans as well. So, and and for me, they don't care if it's a preseason game. Even if it's a even if like that they don't care if it's preseason, right? It's just Raiders, man. They just care about the Raiders, man. They don't really mind if it's a preseason game. They just want to see the Raiders play. That's all. You know. They
Yeah,
don't really care because they're Raider fans, right? They don't really mind if it's a regular season game, preseason game. It doesn't really phase them. They just want to watch their favorite team play, and that's all. That's all they really care about. You know, seeing the
so
Raiders win and
so I have a feeling that
feeling ecstatic
both
that
both
they.
both both teams will have their starters on for at least one full half, and I believe that our starters are better than their starters. So I think we'll have the lead at halftime, barring some crazy stuff going on, and depending on how um, they decide to split up the second half. Like if Trey gets a quarter and then Rosen and Sudfeld split the last quarter, we might have a pretty good scoring game.
Um.
So,
So um. So the Raiders and Niners game. Would you say it would compare like the Dodgers and the Giants in a battle of the rivalry game? Would you say that the Raiders and the 49ers would be compared to the Giants and Dodgers in baseball? Because I know the LA
no,
Dodgers and the Giants are very bitter towards each other. They don't like each other. It's so
I would say it's more San Francisco versus the Oakland A's. They're not in the same division. They're not, they play every once in a while, and it's the Battle of the Bay again type of thing. I think the Giants and the Dodgers, I think that's more of like Niners Seahawks type rivalry. You know what I mean? A little more heated. I don't think the Raiders.
But how would
Niners,
you say that? How would you say the Raiders and Niners game will be compared to like Giants compared to like the Giants?
Yeah, like I said, I think it would be more like the Oakland A's against the Giants. I think that's the rivalry I would compare it to.
Uh, um, yeah, the unfortunate thing is that game is happening at 1 p.m. So I don't think we're gonna come at 1 p.m. That might be too early for going to a game. At 1 p.m. That's a little bit too early to go and watch a football game at 1 o'clock. People have to have lunch too. It might be too early for some people.
Well, it's on a weekend, right? So it should be fine.
And the thing when I looked at the tickets for the Raiders and Niners game, the thing that surprised me, they're like $99. I mean, that doesn't make any sense, right? It's a preseason game. Why are the tickets going for $99, right? But in the end, it's the Battle of the Bay, right? So it kind of makes sense why the tickets are really super super expensive, right? Kind of makes sense, right? Because it's the Battle of the Bay and it's Raiders versus Niners, so it kind of makes sense why the tickets are going for like $96, $100, like they're going really high. They're probably in the upper 90s.
So here in Washington, tickets for the 49ers Seahawks game, regular season, you can't get a pair of tickets for less than $400.
So that's exactly for the but for the Raiders game, it doesn't make any sense because if it's a preseason game, why are the tickets going for $99? Right? I mean, it's not a regular season game, like for crying out loud.
So a lot of the Oakland Raiders fans, they never left California or Oakland. The Raiders did. So this is a game everybody in the Bay wants to go to, whether they're a Niners fan or a Raiders fan. You know what I mean?
But like for crying out loud, the tickets should not be like $100 for one seat. Like it's $99. If you get food, it'll be like probably $10 like $9-10 for food. It'll come out to 109. If you buy some merchandise, that'll be probably 130, and then so it'll and if you buy like so if you go around, it's probably gonna be 150 for the outing total, because you're gonna buy food there, you're gonna buy some like little trinkets from the team store, you're gonna buy do like you're gonna like so it is gonna be 150, right? The total outing for the outing is gonna be around 150 $200, right?
Yeah, like you
for the whole outing.
It could be an easy 200 with food and a couple beers and a trinket. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be $100, right? I mean, easily. Because it's $99 for the ticket, right? Plus fees, so there'll be some fees, so it'll probably with around fees, it'll probably come up to 105. So, but like remember, like you said, like you gave me an example that there was a concert you wanted to go to, and you couldn't go to that concert, and then once the tickets were done, you could. That was your. Remember, you gave me that example.
Yep, it was the Rage Against the Machine concert.
That you wanted to go to, and you never got a chance to see your favorite band. And then
ever since I was a kid.
You never got to see that band.
My buddy took his daughters to the Princesses on Ice, and he got 3 snow cones, and he had to pay $17 a piece for the snow cones. So
and
that's
he did it.
almost, yeah, that's almost $60 for snow cones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, but all the thing is that the thing that the 49ers should focus on is that don't focus on this game and learn from this game and move on. It's that's really the learning lesson for me for the team is that even if you lost the game, just focus on what things you could have gained from this loss, because you should focus on this loss and move just focus on the next one, because there isn't any point dwelling over something that's already been done, right? Because it's
yeah.
already been done, right? You shouldn't dwell on it. Like, it's just gonna stress you out more when you dwell on it, right?
You need to
So,
build on it. You need to build on it, not dwell
and
on it. You
and
need
see,
to you
that's what
need to you need to
you
look
need to
at
build upon.
everything you've done and then try and fix it.
Wrong.
And the game's already over, so you can't go back in
You
time. So
can't
there's
you can't you
so
can't
there's
go
no
back
sense
in
in
time
being
and
down about it. You know?
being down about. I mean, is it's kind of. Well, would you say that a game? Would you say it's kind of like? Would you say a comparison would be like if you do a StreamYard broadcast, and you didn't do good on it, and so you felt bad about what you did? Would you say that this is it's very similar to that, where when you did a stream and you felt bad about some things you did, next time you focus on those things and you make the stream better? Do you think
Yeah,
that would be some way of looking at it? Like when
yeah,
you do a
definitely.
stream, you felt that I did something bad on the stream, and then next time you focus on what you did bad, and then you make sure you can do it better next time.
Yep.
So is that a
That's
way of looking at, like, can you compare the game to that, to like real life? Like you make a mistake and you just like you said, you just laugh, you laugh it off. You laugh at it.
yeah.
When
So
you made a mistake, you just laugh and you move on from it.
one of my
Really,
favorite
it's
quotes
just
is the only difference between the master and the pupil is that the master has failed more times than the pupil has ever attempted. And that just means he's a master because he's been through all those losses and he's built himself upon all those mistakes and he's learned from them to the point where now he's the master. No one can beat him because he's made so many mistakes. He's made all the mistakes and he's figured out how to not let them be mistakes in the future, what steps to take to not have those mistakes. So then he is qualified to then teach the pupil how to be essentially like him. And it's going to
so.
take
Are
a
you
lot of mistakes.
so are you saying a master? So when you're saying the master and the pupil, like in a way, you could say the master would be would like when you think of the Warriors, the master would be Draymond Green, and the pupil would be James Wiseman, who's the center.
Okay, I'm
Because
not a I don't know much about the Warriors or basketball in general, so I got to just make
oh
that clear.
oh
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that isn't a master and a pupil like the master could be like when you take karate, the
Yeah.
karate teacher is he's the master,
The
and then the
sensei.
pupil is the
Yep.
student who's
Yep.
learning from the master.
Yep.
So sometimes does the pupil make mistakes learning, and then the and then I mean sometimes like um sometimes so because sometimes when the master learns, it's kind of like sometimes he makes mistakes too, like um like there's a thing that I mean we all make mistakes, but like like uh like like just like I played football in high school, and when we lost, we all as a team, as a collective team, we also thought kind of broke it down the same way, right? That we lost, and then all of us teammates worked together and said, like, let's all, like, what are we gonna do next time? Like, we have a new opponent we're facing,
Yep.
and how are we gonna beat this opponent? We have to work together, right? Like like you know but 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 it looks like I'm gonna yeah, but it was really nice coming on, but like when we're doing these post game shows, I'm gonna try and do it after every I'm gonna try and do it after every
Game.
game.
Okay.
I'm gonna do my best to try and do a post game show after every after every Niner game. Doesn't matter if it's away or home. I'm gonna try and do do every Niner game on my channel. So I'm gonna if you're there for the Chargers game, I'll probably do a post game show after that one, and then I'm probably gonna do one after the Raiders one.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. We'll be in touch.
But I don't
We'll
know
be in
if you're gonna
touch.
be there for them.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I got
I'm gonna try
I
and do
got
a
things
post game
going on.
show after every Niner game. But but it was great having you on and sharing your thoughts about sharing your thoughts of the game and any other things that you had to share. We'll do this next time, but it was really great having you on, and I hope you have a great one.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Okay, bye,
Bye.
bye.